Poverty in America by Brittany Tunstall. Many Americans are living in poverty. The American dream is not always a good dream. For some people, it is a nightmare. In a nation with such a strong economy, many people still can't afford the necessities that they need just to stay alive. Many factors cause Americans to face poverty, such as the federal minimum wage, inflation, having children you cannot afford, and no skills. The underlying problem is the federal minimum wage, inflation, having children you cannot afford, and no skills. So for the federal minimum wage, the minimum wage is not enough to live off of in today's economy. For inflation, inflation has caused prices to go up, and it's hurting people financially. For having children you cannot afford, many people have children for various reasons when they cannot support them, and this makes it harder for them to escape poverty. And having no skills. Having no skills is a common reason people end up in a low-wage job, causing them to be poor. Causes and effects of poverty in America. Cause: a person lacking a skill, having a child they cannot afford, being hit with inflation cost, or the federal minimum wages the government sets for us can all cause poverty. The effects: any of those situations can affect a person intensely by altering their brain, causing the child in the situation to also be in poverty. This creates limitations to one's potential. Poverty also causes hunger, stress, and absent parents. A plan to cure poverty in America. Learning a valued skill. When you learn a skill that has value to the world, that not every person has, it can open new job opportunities, helping to raise your wage, and possibly escaping poverty. The government should make programs for adults to help them take a pause from life and get a skill. Another plan to cure poverty is raising the minimum wage. The government should raise the minimum wage and create more low-income communities that people can afford to live on without Section 8. A plan to cure poverty is also not having a child you cannot afford. Schools should have speeches about the cost of raising a baby and how to protect yourself and make smart decisions to avoid having a baby you cannot afford. Another plan is lowering inflation. I think the government should make people give good raises that match inflation so people aren't pushed into poverty. The cost would be paid for by the government with better programs for the poor, a skill set program for adults, and a plan to fight inflation. By the companies for raising the minimum wages, and by individuals when planning for a baby, a mixture of financial and logic. The benefits would be amazing: better paying jobs, lower inflation, less poor children, and more adults with skills. I think poverty is hurting so many Americans, and no child deserves to be affected when they have no control over it. If we educate our youth, think before we have a child, raise the minimum wage, stop inflation, and gain skills, we can fight poverty.